How's it going? How's it going, gamers? Okay, so Swans, Beggar came out like July of like 2023. So although this is, I believe, the band's 16th album, this is actually the second album released under this specific lineup. Of course, the lineup featuring Norman Westberg and Thor Harris ended in 2017 after The Glowing Man and after the release of the Deliquescence live album. In my opinion, their best lineup, but I'm not really here to talk about that right now. And after a short hiatus, 2019, they released Leaving Meaning. Not my favorite Swans album, but it has definitely grown on me a lot. And of course, for this lineup, they swapped out Thor Harris and Norman Westberg for Donna Schechter and Larry Mullins. For some reason, I lost his name. Yeah, like I said, not my favorite Swans album. A lot of people were kind of mixed on this album, but I personally really liked it after it grew on me, of course. And then, of course, 2023, they release The Beggar. I've listened to this album a lot ever since it came out, like a lot, and I have a lot to say about it. Like their trilogy albums from their 2012 to 2016 lineup, the entire album, 2 hours long. So, it's kind of a journey. It's kind of a long album. Even though I've listened to it a lot over the past year, there are still parts of it that really, really kind of befuddle me. Even though I feel like I do have a pretty solid grasp on what exactly this album is trying to do, some of it is just really out there, even for Swans. I feel like a lot of people going into this, and even going into Leaving Meaning, were kind of setting themselves up for disappointment because I think they were expecting more of the super grandiose and super climactic post-rock anthems that were on The Seer and To Be Kind and The Glowing Man, and while I do love those, I think what they're doing here kind of takes everything that they were doing on those albums, including Leaving Meaning, and I think it just kind of breaks them down to their simplest forms, and it really pushes them forward into a really interesting new direction. I kind of don't know what else to say about this album before I kind of get into this, but I'm kind of hoping that as with my experience with other Swans albums, if I coming out of it, I'll get a new experience, because that's what tends to happen when I listen to their albums. Every single time you listen to it, it's like a whole new experience. Happens to me with The Seer, happens to me with To Be Kind, happens to me with The Glowing Man, happens to me with soundtracks. Hope it continues to happen to me with The Beggar. It's a very slow album, but I'll get into that later. So first track off of The Beggar, The Parasite.
Breathe my breath into your head, righteous, pure, and sour with death. There is no way out, there is no way in. Feed on me, feed on me, feed on me now.
Before the song kind of continues on into the next verses, I kind of want to point out why I think the lyrics on this album are so good. Let me just look at the lyrics for this first verse, really quickly. Oh yeah, I forgot. Thanks, Spotify. Breathe my breath into your head, righteous, pure, and sour with death. Feed on me, feed on me. Now I think in natural Swans fashion, these lyrics are kind of cryptic, but I think what they're doing here is they're adding an extra depth to these lyrics, because I think the meaning behind the lyrics, which kind of gets explored later throughout the album, is super fascinating, and I kind of want to, I think the lyrics, with how they do progress throughout the album, I kind of wanted to save talking for them until later into the album. And also the sound of the song, if you ignore the lyrics, the sound of the song is just so fascinating. It's so unique, even within the Swans discography. Like I said earlier, I think what this album does just kind of takes the best parts of their previous 5-6 albums and just combines them, pushes them into this really interesting new direction. Particularly what I think they take really good advantage of throughout the album is the really bizarre cerebral horror of The Seer, the really simple like really hypnotic grooves that you can find on To Be Kind. The raw, like the heavy-hitting psychedelia and transcendence that they managed to attain on The Glowing Man, particularly on this track. I think it's a really interesting marriage of both that aspect of the sphere and like the very open and airy, almost cosmic sounding orchestration that you could find on Leaving Meaning. I think it creates like a really interesting sonic palette, and for a opener to the album, I think it's, especially for what the album is about, I think it's perfect. Anyways, I'm gonna quit yapping. I'm gonna continue the track.
Come to me, come to me, come to me now. You are not free, you are not free. Come to me, feed on me, 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 come to me. I wonder what you are, I wonder where I am, I wonder if the water is swallowing the land. I wonder if an image is realer than nothing. The more that you consume, the less you'll ever know. I wonder how we got here. I wonder if I can breathe in, reach inside.
I love this song. I said in the beginning that it did kind of play with the horror aspect that they kind of had on the Seer, as well as the kind of orchestration that they had on Leaving Meaning, the very free form, very open kind of stuff they did on that album. I think in like the second part of this song, I think it's all just pushed to the nth degree. Like the instrumental, I think, is just absolutely incredible. Like the two lap pedal steel guitars kind of layered over each other, both playing like opposing melodies, the kind of almost like steam engine sounding drone that's just screaming in the background, just so quiet that you can barely hear it, but it does so much. The super deep synth that just like keeps like waving in and out of the background. I think now is a good place to say that I think Michael Gira, for the music that he makes, is a perfect vocalist. He has this almost like super deep, like hypnotic drawl. I think the instrumental is great, but I think his vocal just on this song in particular just kind of, I think they just kind of tie everything together. It's like Michael's voice, like itself is like a drone, and I think it's like absolutely incredible to hear. So let me look again at the lyrics at the end of the song, because I think they're also kind of worth looking at. I wonder what you are, I wonder where I am, I wonder if the water is swallowing the sand, I wonder how we got here, I wonder if I care, I wonder if your breathing is stealing all the air. Like I said, this album does still kind of do the thing where their lyrics are very cryptic. With the context of the themes of this album, they're just elevated to be so much more like haunting. Like I said, I will get into the themes of this album, but I don't think I'll do it on this track because I think there is a better place to do it. And I will do it when I get there. Anyways, yeah, love that song. I think it's an incredible opener, and I think it actually is elevated when put in the context of the album itself, because I think it ties in really well with the next track, which is Paradise Is Mine, which is actually the lead single for this album. So let's hear it. And like I said, I think the atmospheres collide like perfectly. I think it's like incredible. so good. It's so good. It's so good. You see, this is what I mean. If the first track kind of kind of just shows a glimpse of how they're going to play with the aspects of their previous albums, I think this track just like right off the bat, it just knocks it out of the park, dude. The opening drone sounds a lot like the more like drony, really immersive sounds you would find on The Glowing Man. Like it sounds like the opening drone to Cloud of Forgetting, which is a huge compliment because I love that. Then the riff, I think it kind of perfectly embodies like the simplistic, super like intense hypnoticism that you could find on To Be Kind. And I think like those two aspects that they kind of show on this track, I think they blend perfectly, dude. I think just right off the bat, it's fascinating. It piques your interest. It really pulls you in. Like right off the bat, I love this song. This song's incredible, but you know, I'll let it play out so it can get even more incredible.
Now we lay in the mud to create a new world. Come to us from the mark. Hey, way. Hey, way. Is it really your mind? Is it really your mind? Am I ready to die? Am I ready to die? Am I ready to die? This is my
Honestly, I think this track is kind of a dip of quality for the album. I mean, all they're doing is just repeating the same riff for like 7 minutes, and they have like those really goofy background vocals. I kind of hate this track. I'm just kidding. I think this track is amazing. I think it's absolutely incredible. I mean, the structure of the track, it's watertight. I love the riff that they just keep continuously repeating, like, for almost the entire song. Like I usually say, like, repetition is like an important, very important key in music. If you have an idea that's worth repeating, then you better repeat it. And what they do is they repeat it. And it's an incredible idea, so I think it pays off wonderfully. And then, like, the breakdown at the end, 4 different instruments, like, coming in at once, especially, like, the lap pedal steel guitar, adding really nice flourishes in the background. And I even like the goofy little I like that. I think it's a fun touch. And that's the really important part. Like, it doesn't matter how smart the idea is behind your song. If it's not fun to listen to, I'm not going to listen to it. And this is very fun, very entertaining to listen to. And on a similar note, the production, like especially throughout the entire album, it's perfect. It's like, I mean, it's a Swans album. The production is going to be perfect. It's like, come on, man. Like, there's no clipping on a Swans album, and if there is clipping on a Swans album, it's very slight, and it doesn't really harm my enjoyment of the track. Like the drums at the end of Oxygen, where they're slamming so hard, it's like clipping the mic. I think it's awesome. Got a little sidetrack there, but yeah, love this song. I think it's one of the best on the album, and I can't really think of anything about it that I don't really like. Anyways, next track, Los Angeles, City of Death.
Oh, we're drugged by the sun. Here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes, here he comes. Cavalry must see to undo what he has done.
This used to be my least favorite song on the album. Fun fact. It's actually grown a lot on me. I think this track is really fantastic. The second half, like where the really harsh sounding lap pedal still comes in, it literally sounds like the closing track for this year. Reason I love like how it kind of takes aspects of past albums so much. It doesn't just like reiterate, not only just takes the aspects, but it combines them in really interesting ways, taking those previous aspects and putting them into this new context. Not only do I think it sounds incredible, I think it works perfectly with like the themes of this album, like how it kind of presents that theme. I think it's absolutely genius. Anyways, yeah, that song's pretty good. Another thing I wanted to say is that I love how the songs in this album don't really rely a lot on climaxes like in previous songs from previous albums. They kind of focus more on codas, just kind of something to end it and just go straight into the next one. Anyways, that's a great song. Definitely still one of my least favorites, but not a bad song by any means. I think it's a fantastic song. Anyways, next song, track number 4, Michael's is done.
Now my coat is done, stripped bare of pretense, but my coat will win. There's a flame on his tongue. When the other has come, then my coat is done, is done, is done. While cracking his lens, he is breaking his hands. When the other has come, then my cup is done, is done, is done.
Love that song. I don't really have much to say about it, but it's just so easy to just get lost into it. It sounds so beautiful. But I feel like this track is a good place to explain uh, why I personally think this is one of the band's least accessible albums. Like even though it doesn't like reach nearly like the same like almost brutal um volume levels of albums like the Sear or No Wave era live albums, just because of the amount of context it really requires for like a full understanding. Not only like with the aspect of how they just kind of combine various elements from previous albums, but also just like that's kind of like with a track like titled Michael is Done, like Michael Jura is Done, uh, and especially like the 43-minute long track, the Beggar Lover 3. It's kind of hard to like get into the song if you don't like already care about the band. Anyways, yeah, I love that song. Not, I don't love it as much as I used to when I first listened to this album. But yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said earlier, the production is perfect. That little middle section, it's beautiful. It like lifts you up to the sky, and time just stops. Next track, song number 5, Unforming. Hold on. The opening drone is so unbelievably beautiful. Like the middle section of the previous track, Michael is done, just like the rare moments of beauty in this album, like scattered among like the existential horror and like the more stripped back folk moments. It just adds so much context. Like I guarantee you tracks like the Parasite and the upcoming Beggar Lover 3, they just would not hit as hard if it weren't for like the smaller, like more beautiful moments like this track. The amount of depth it adds to the album while also just sounding absolutely incredible. It's one of the reasons why I think this is one of their best albums. Just the contrast that it's able to have within the album itself. It's just so intriguing. Anyways, time to actually play the song.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Now I can't feel my fingers, but I'm trying to breathe. Where do I end? I don't think this is me. There's someone inside me, but it's not really clear.
I can't. It's so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I can't help it, man. It's so gorgeous. I can't help it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Pretty. Pretty boring. Hey, got him. Alright.
I'm not really here. I can't feel with these hands. I don't think with this mind. Just by thinking I'm here, I will soon disappear. To let it all go, to let it all go. Freedom, freedom from fear.
So pretty. You know, I actually showed I showed that song, to my aunt, who, used to be a music teacher. She said it was boring. She said she didn't like it because it was boring and it was too slow. And honestly, I agree with her. The song is very slow. Very, very slow. In fact, I think this entire album insanely slow. And I think it's entirely intentional. I think it is supposed to kind of be a more mellow, more introspective album. Another reason why I love this album so much, it ties up so many loose ends just scattered throughout like the 40 years of the band's history. Like you'll hear in the middle of the song going freedom. You might remember that from Toussaint Louverture, from To Be Kind, where it says freedom, freedom, from, and it doesn't really, it's just kind of those two words. When this song kind of concludes that thought, saying freedom from fear. I mean, that's just one case where this album really does feel like a conclusion piece, and I think that's just one reason why. Like what is it? The 43-minute long song, The Beggar Lover 3. You might be able to tell from the name that it's actually a third part of a series of projects that started in the 90s with the Body Haters, number 1 of 3. And then there's another part of that song that really makes this album feel like a conclusion piece, but I'm not going to spoil it or talk about it until I get to the song itself. Because yes, I do think that song has a spoiler warning. Anyways, yeah, I think that song is absolutely gorgeous, man. I think it's sometimes there's not really much else that you can say other than the fact that it just sounds. Anyways, next song, title track, The Beggar. before we get into the song, I do want to kind of talk about like one gripe that I do kind of have with this album. Uh, if anything, it's probably my least favorite part of the album is I think the track sequencing is kind of weak, especially compared to other Swans albums where the sequencing and the pacing of the album is so perfect that it just kind of feels like a 5 minute walk through the park when in reality the album is 2 hours long. But I do think the sequencing of this album is quite weak. I think the way the album starts with the Parasite into Paradise is Mine is incredible. And I think the album kind of leads into the ending with Why Can't I Have What I Want Anytime That I Want to close out the first disc and transition into the Beggar Lover 3. I think that's incredible, but I think the sequencing in the middle of the album and the ending track for the album, I think it's kind of poor relative to Swans' other albums. In fact, it's such a big issue with me that I actually made an alternate track list for this album. I made an alternate track list. As you can see, I switched some tracks around. Unforming is closer to the end of the album, and the closer of the track is the third song. Personally, I tried listening to the album in this order, and I think the experience is actually a lot more cohesive, at least in this order. So, Michael Jura, if you're watching this video, feel free to contact me. Feel free to hire me. I'll sequence your albums for you. I'll take any payment. Okay, just hit me up. Hit me up. Call me whenever. I'm always available. But just to show like how much better I think this track list could have improved, I'm actually going to go from the fourth track Michael has done directly into the title track, skipping Unforming, just to show how much better I think it flows.
Is done, is done, is done, is done, is done, is done, is done.
It could just be entirely a me thing, but man, just the way it kind of transitions from Michael is done into the title track, it makes it sound so much more haunting almost. Anyways, I'm done griping about the track list for now. I'm gonna go back to the actual album. The title track time, The Beggar. Let's get it.
I'm sick of chewing at your heels. I'm sick of licking up your spit. I am the stranger in your mirror. I am a glove without a hand. I am an empty vessel ringing in a stone house in the woods. I am an insect in your bedclothes, searching for a place to beg. Will I remember how to live? When do I finally get to live?
Before the song plays into like the second part, I kind of want to talk finally about the themes, like the lyrical themes of the album, and why I think they are absolutely incredible. Just to start talking about them, I want to look at the lyrics of the first part of this song real quick. I'm sick of chewing at your heels. I'm sick of licking up your spit. What if I keep the power I give you? Will I then decide to live? I am an insect in your bedclothes, searching for a place to beg. What if I steal the child inside you? Will I remember how to live? When will I finally learn how to live? I am the poem that was written on the backside of your lids. Like, unless it was like a little difficult to tell, the album talks a lot about death and like addiction. And I think, uh, particularly on this song, the depiction and the way it's worded, I think it's harrowing, really. And let me look at that one lyric again. I am the insect in your bedclothes. Insects are mentioned a lot on this album, actually. Like, let me look at some of the earlier songs. On the fourth track, Michael is done. He says, soaking his sheets while counting insects. On Los Angeles City of Death, he says, tunneling the ground, swallowing the sound, injecting insect dreams. Now, unless you couldn't tell, there's kind of a lyrical motif going on here. Now, the reason he mentions insects so much is I believe at one point Michael was actually fell off of a roof and nearly died because he was pushed back because he was trying to escape a wasp. Uh, Writing an album about death and constantly referencing a near-death experience you had, I don't think that is by accident. I love the way that the themes of this album are presented throughout the album, and as they kind of get fleshed out further, I will try and explain them a bit more. Also, the sound of this song, like I said, like as always, it's incredible. Like this middle section, so far the heaviest moment and the loudest moment of the entire album, and I think making the listener wait this long for a payoff like this it's so smart. It's so satisfying if you're a listener who has been like paying attention to the album up to this point and really giving it like your full like undivided attention. I think I think it's insanely rewarding. Anyways, I'm going to continue the song and then when it ends I'm going to talk about it a little bit more.
I stand before you polished golden. I keep a globe of light within. But my objection leads to freedom. My seed is growing and will live. I hear the whispering of angels. I see the dust is made of jewels. I am the slaughter at your altar. That's where my will to live begins. My love for you will never end.
I think The Beggar is absolutely incredible. At this point in the album, it has like the best lyrics. I think the themes of the album really come through here at this point. Like at a point where it's just like honestly kind of like bone chilling. Like about the lyrics, about the themes of the album. Let me look at the lyrics of the second half because I think they kind of do make the song so much like, that much better. My love is purified but reeking of your calumny endured. My feet are bruised and torn and leaking. Before I go there, sing a prayer into my palms beneath your chin. I am the slaughter at your altar. That's where my will to live begins. My love for you will never end. How I personally see the track, it's kind of a statement on something that like holds a vice on you. Like taking the themes of the album into account, I see this kind of like talking about addiction. I think in the first verse of the track, it's almost like Michael is kind of talking from the point of view of like this thing that just holds a vice over him. And in the second track, it's like him just talking about the terrible like uh relationship he has with this thing. It's just self-defeating. It just shows like whatever he's talking about holds so much power over him, begets a cycle of self-hatred, practically giving himself up to this thing that holds so much power over him. Gut-wrenching, dude. Anyways, yeah, I think that song is absolutely incredible. Definitely one of the best songs in the album. In many different aspects, the best song in the album. Anyways, track 7, No More of This. Yet another really harrowing song, but it's played so different compared to The Beggar. I'll let it play out so you can kind of see what I mean by that.
No more of this, no love, no bliss. Now is the time to begin, time to swallow the key. It's time to sleep. There will be no bright, shining new day. No more, no more of this, no more of this, no more, no more of this. No more of this. Goodbye, lovers. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, daughter. I pray to heaven that you exist within a cloud of healing mist that permeates.
Chills, man. I mean, I love music that puts you on another planet. Swans, they just do it like nobody else, man. It's like I'm floating in the clouds, but I'm crying because it's sad. It's just the entire track. It's on the like on paper, it's so beautiful, but it just has this underlying like melancholy to it. It's just looking at the lyrics, in case it wasn't obvious, that is like a song directly addressing, hey, I'm gonna die soon. It's almost like this album is about death. What? That's crazy, man. In the last verse of the song, he is literally bidding goodbye to all the people he knows. I pray to heaven that you exist within a cloud of healing mist that permeates your deepest being, that bathes your soul with a light that cleans. It's so beautiful, but it's so sad, man. Next track, Ebbing, track 8.
softer skies, the drunken tides, but not breathing. Hey, on your breath.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, man. The instrumentation of the song is perfect. The tone of the guitar, it sounds so good, but it just has that slight rough quality to it that just it makes it sound just that much better. Like those little synth keys in the back, and like the choir in the back. And Michael's vocals are so good. I can't help it, man. This song is it's too beautiful.
My swallowed tongue, my wounded dove, their lives are mine, dissolving, not breathing.
Swans plays one chord for 7 minutes and it never once gets boring. The song's really good. I'd actually say, I was actually go as far to say that it's actually one of my favorites on the album. Well, I don't think the lyrics are particularly the strongest here. It just locks you in for like 10 minutes, and every single second it's beautiful and it's intriguing, and I just think the sound is so perfect for the album. And yeah, that part where they literally play one chord for 7 minutes. Uh, yeah, I feel like if you don't get kind of like entranced by the music, uh, it's kind of hard to explain the appeal. Anyways, I'm just gonna go straight to the final song on the first disc of this album. Why Can't I Have What I Want Anytime That I Want? You hear that? I think there's ghosts.
When will time erase this stupid smile from my face? Questions are of no consequence. Is malignant and true. for your door. I ever give you up. Lost, lost, lost. Now I want to pay the cost. Just open up my mouth and pour your tongue into my head. Oh, gone, gone, gone. Now my teeth are cracked and red. I am begging at the foot of your bed. Give me one more taste of death. Why can't I have what I want anytime that I want?
Okay, wow. Why can't I have what I want anytime that I want? To put it simply, the song is harrowing. Like, even if you don't know what the song is about, like, just looking at the lyrics, the imagery it creates, it's so, like, it's so disgusting and just perfectly gets, like, the point of the track across. When will time erase this stupid smile in my face? I still feel you in my veins, pure and refined while I raged. But that's where my need for you begins, with your nails through my hands on this hill that I till. I'm unconscious on the floor, but my hand is reaching for your door. There's a shadow of your taste and the blood rush in my gut. I don't care, just erase every memory, every trace. Open up my mouth and pour your tongue into my head. I am lost without your breath. My teeth are cracked and red. I am begging at the foot of your bed. Give me one more taste of death. In case it wasn't already obvious, the song is about alcoholism, and I think it's just, like I said, it's harrowing. It's bone-chilling. Honestly, these might be, like, the best lyrics on any song on the album, and potentially the best lyrics on a Swans song. This used to be like one of my least favorite off of the album. This song has grown so insanely hard, like so much on me. It's like now it might actually be like one of my favorites off of the album. The imagery that the lyrics is put into your head is so messed up. The song is so messed up, and it also leads perfectly into the next track. One of two songs on the second disc of the album, The Beggar Lover 3, I think is the best song on the album. Spoiler alert, one of the best Swans songs, period. But before we get into it, I am actually going to take a break, a very quick break, because the song it's 43 minutes long. I guess I'll talk about it and play it when I come back. Alright. Hello. While I was gone, I thought of another thing I really quickly wanted to say about the previous track. I think looking back on the track, I think the lyrics actually give a lot of context and take context from other tracks on the album. Like in No More of This, how Michael just keeps repeating, give me more, more, more. It's almost like he's like knows he's about to die and is begging to live even longer, even if it means continuing this abusive cycle of addiction and self-hatred. It's so messed up, dude. It makes me think like the album is called The Beggar. It makes me believe like the entire album kind of like personifies like the state of being where you're just trapped under the vices of whatever you're giving power, and you're just constantly punishing yourself and just trapping yourself in this never-ending cycle. It's so messed up, dude. It is like stomach churning just thinking about. Anyways, now, The Beggar Lover 3. When I was like first listening to this album, uh, right after Why Can't I Have Any Time That I Want, when this song came on, it just started and it was like a really, really unnerving, like like stomach drop sensation of realization. It was like a draft blew into my room and just kind of like, ugh. The entire song, I think, expertly just plays into the themes of the album just through sound, man. Which, I mean, I guess I'll explain what I mean by the end of the 43-minute long track. It's so unbelievable. Like, even like, going back to it, it's honestly kind of astonishing what this song can do. But enough waffling, I'm just gonna get into the song. Without further ado, The Beggar Lover 3. Strap in, it's gonna be a long one.
Slowly, it's taking me over, and eventually, I'll be completely transformed. It's in the food I eat, in the air I breathe. It's in the people I love, and they frighten me. Despite my love for them, there's nothing I can do for them, nor is there anything they can do for themselves. Its appetite is endless and will never be filled.
What day is it? Swans is one of the only bands I have listened to where they can make a 43-minute long song consistently interesting, consistently surprising, and like actually enjoyable to listen to the point where you can just like close your eyes and let it flow by for like that 43 minutes. When I first listened to this album, I loved this song, but I was a little afraid that like the initial shock value of it would kind of linger off. But as I've re-listened to this album a bunch and listened to this song on its own just casually, I would say it has only grown on me. I think this is the best song on the album, one of the best Swans songs I've heard, and I kind of view it as like this the centerpiece of the album, like, where every single track is like somehow connected to it. I think it plays into the themes of the album really well, even though it may not be like super obvious at first. If you're not familiar, what it's doing is like it's taking the stems of various Swan songs like throughout like the past 30 years and just like taking them apart and stitching them together like to create this like whole new song. And it's so trippy to hear, especially when you're familiar with all of these specific audio snippets. In the context of the album too, it's honestly kind of harrowing, like the image it paints. It feels like Michael has succumbed like to his alcoholism, and now like all of his memories are like being fractured like upon like a massive gray void, and it's slowly tread through all of these like fractured memories. It's so unnerving to hear, but it's great to listen to. The pacing and the structure of the song is perfect. The song is 43 minutes long, and it feels like the shortest song on the album, outside of like the 3-minute long song. I know Swans made a 3-minute long song, they're selling out. Anyways, I could honestly make like an entire video talking about the Beggar Lover, which I very well may. I mean, like I said, this album just ties up a bunch of loose ends from the past 40 years of the band's history. And I feel like the song, taking various snippets of past Swan songs, makes the whole album feel like the end of an era. It's absolutely ridiculous. Alright, well, that was the Beggar Lover 3. Not the last song of the album, actually. We have one more song left, track 11, the Memorious. It's the baby noise from the Beggar Lover 3!
Turquoise lake spread out flat between the desert hills, crushing stone. Giant
So that was The Beggar. Okay, before I talk about the album itself, I do want to touch one more time on a gripe that I mentioned earlier, specifically the sequencing of the album. The ending of this album, I think the Memorious is a really poor way to end the album. The song itself is great. It's a great song, but I think it is not a good song to close out the album. Now, like I said earlier, if we go back to my alternate track list for the album, I have Ebbing as a closer. I think it kind of works better as a follow-up for the Beggar Lover, which I think that's what they were trying to do with the Memorious. Like, the Beggar Lover, it didn't really have like a climax. It just kind of faded out. No satisfying ending, which honestly I think works in the track's favor. It makes it sound like way more bone chilling. And then I think what they wanted to do was they wanted like the Memorious to be like an actual like closing out for the Beggar Lover, just being this giant pummeling this rhythmic mass. I personally don't think it works. Like I said, great song, but not the best way to close out the album in my opinion. So anyways, yeah, that was The Beggar. I I really love this album. When this album first came out, I loved it, and I thought to myself, okay, I really love this album, but it might just be recency bias. So I'm gonna give it some time to let it sit, to let it marinate, and then it won't be as good. And I will say, if anything, I think the album has actually grown on me. I think it has grown to be, in my opinion, one of the band's best albums. I think it is definitively in their top three best albums. It's probably their best album since To Be Kind in 2014. I really don't know what to say about this album. Like, even right after listening to it, there's just so much to unpack. The theme of the album, it's so personal, which is really rare for Swans. Like, they're rarely personal, but they do it here and they execute it just excellently. The themes of the album really strike a chord, which, that's what Swans do because they make music. They strike chords. Ayo, that was like a joke. Again, the lyrics on the album, I think this is the best Swans album in terms of lyrics. And like what I said earlier, what they do with this album by like taking various aspects of their previous albums, like the horror of the seer, the simple hypnoticism of To Be Kind, the crushing raw transcendence of the Glowing Man, and the really free-form compositions and open and airy orchestrations on Leaving Meaning. I think how they like break all of those aspects down to their barest bones, combine them together, and then push them forward. That sentiment is kind of reflected in the themes and lyrics of the album. I mean, personally, I think it's absolutely genius with what they did here. So yeah, I'm really happy I decided to record this video. I mean, I got to listen to this incredible album again, and I think I actually came out of it with a new, interesting new perspective on it, and I came out of it with some more interesting ideas on what I personally think it's doing, which is my favorite thing about Swans albums, man. Every single time you re-listen to them, it's like a brand new experience. With To Be Kind, every single listen is an entirely new perspective. With The Seer, with soundtracks for the blind, with The Great Annihilator. It's my favorite thing. They pack so many details into just one album. It's like every single time you listen to it, you just come back with something new. It rewards you so much just for paying attention, and that's the best part. It's just rewarding and entertaining to listen to, like through and through. Anyways, like I said, that was The Beggar. I love the album. Hopefully I was able to explain why I love this album, and yeah, hopefully if you're not familiar with Swans, maybe you understand why I love the album so much, and if so, then my goal with the video has been met. That's all I really wanted to do, just explain why I love this album so much and why I think it works so well. Thanks for watching.